Hello, everybody, and good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, no matter where you are in the world. We're, of course, watching Goldhart Group, and I am your DM, the Golden Stag. As you can see, I have antlers to prove it. Leonie, also known as Glass and Gadgets, and here is my lovely cast, and we're having some light-hearted Wednesday fun with a date with death. But before we get into the recap, I've got some buttons to press and some things to tell you about. The first thing being that while we love everything D&D, we are not affiliated, sponsors, or specifically approved by Wizards of the Coast, LLC. While you are watching, you are accruing stags. Stags being those fun little XP things that you can't do very much with, but you will be very soon. I am almost finished. I basically have 2 sets of D12 tables to do. And yes, that is a pan pride because I asked about that the other day. Someone in chat, Buns, noticed your flag. Yes, and there is also listeners. Fill up our bit goal, which is just 1,000 bits, and our party get a listener, which you can see right at the bottom in like that lovely pearl-like shape. That means that at any point the party can invoke a special evocation where they can reroll a roll, or they can do something else cool, or they can win their concentration save, or they can have some temporary hit points because, like, they're dying, etc., etc. Just to let you know that we do have a YouTube and all our old shows go on there. So if you are watching for the first time and you want to catch up, that's the first port of call. And then, of course, I'm trying to encourage everyone to follow our Patreon. You don't need to donate money to us because we have lots of free posts and we put all our written recaps on there for free. But we're also going to start doing a kind of how we like to run our processes, how we do inclusivity, how we like to run our streams, and there's a lot of like fun things going on. Like at the moment, this morning, I was brainstorming with Kai, who you may know from other shows such as Waterdeep Dragon Heist and other one-shots, and the brainstorming that we were doing was about injuries and how if you were having a rest, you shouldn't just be straight away healed. And then we came up with some really fun ideas about that. And we'll be releasing those on the Patreon as well. So please do go follow us. As I said, you don't need to donate. All our content is unlocked after $1. I mean, you can donate more if you're able to, but if not, just follow and get all the free stuff because that's what it's there for. So, recap. Okay, it's kind of been a while because we've been having tech difficulties. But I'm going to try and do my best to recap. And the only thing I can recap is kind of like what the mission is for today. So the party are literally about to set off to Waterdeep. They have been hired by Lord Javot Coachwell, whose daughter, Cerise, is missing. They have recently moved into a manor that is apparently haunted. Cerise has a fiancé, who is part of the Seawood family. And also she had an archery teacher. Now the party thinks that our dear Cerise has run off with a lover. But is that all the truth? Well, that's what today is all about. And so without further ado, party, you are leaving with Were you sleeping? I can't remember what the decision was. Were you rushing off or were you taking a long rest first? Because you still do have all your injuries and problems from...
We said we knew that it was a lot going on, but it wouldn't do anybody good if we were like dead on arrival.
Yes, exactly.
So take a rest.
Okay.
Morning, like
oh, is that what everybody decided? Okay, sure. That's not how I remember it, but that's fine.
Against it. Guys, everyone's dying, but we can't also die.
I mean, speak for yourself. I'm ready, willing, and able to die. Hear me,
We're
death.
not all awakened.
Got me.
Yes.
Wink, wink. Yeah.
Right here, ready and waiting. So yeah, you're good to go.
Kill me.
Okay, so unless there's anything you would like to do during the night, shall we pick up in the morning?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Sure.
okay with that. Is everybody okay with that?
Okay, cool.
Yep.
It is the morning, and it is here we will begin our session.
I still don't understand why you had to sleep for 8 complete hours.
Well,
Sometimes you get like 3, and that's fine.
in the boat, but we didn't come to a decision. I said boat instead of airship, but we all know what I'm talking about.
Look, it's what it's. You know what? Just call it a Cadillac. It's fine. Who cares?
So, fine. So we were saying we might take a rest in our air caddy, but
Yep, exactly. That's what Air Caddy. That's what it is now. Yeah, no, it's fine. Let's just go. And yeah, I think Bart is carrying supplies onto the airship and has been for like how Bart is one of those annoying people that when it's like, oh, we need to get up early and do something, they wake up a half an hour before that and then do chores for everybody else because some people struggle to wake up when they're supposed to. And so Bart understands that and tries to pick up as much slack as possible. So yeah, loading supplies and if need be, like Dorothea onto the airship as she sleeps in her shell or whatever.
we all wake up on the airship in some
Yeah.
type of discombobulated.
Bart is like put you in specific places in a line so that you all sort of like lean on each other. And then it's like, I forget how to fly this thing, but it's okay. It knows where to go, right? It's magic.
Just like
Just
prop us
kidding.
against the edge, looking over, and like you wake up
Yeah.
and just like, "Ah!"
I know.
Yeah, I thought you'd want to wake up
Nobody
to a
wakes up
nice
like this,
beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're on the airship as early as Bart can force everybody to get up / put you on the airship.
On
and
the
we're
airship
off.
in the morning on our way.
Are we
out.
taking Nozzle McObnoxious with us? Is he coming?
Donovan?
Did he leave? Look, I know what his name is. And let me put it in my notes, underlined, that Axe body spray motherfucker. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, it's Kestrel, right? The Kestrel, is that what you call it?
It was Castro.
Oh, okay.
And yes, they are there.
He's coming with us. Okay.
He
I
did
still have
stay the
Donovan
night.
Demerte.
No.
You have Donovan
Axe
Demerte?
bodies? What's Axe body
yeah,
spray
it was
called?
Donovan. Did I give
Yeah,
them a
no,
last name?
It was Demerte.
Oh, Demerte.
No, that's no. That's Death's name.
You said it was Death.
That's death.
Yeah, that is
That's
Death.
That's
Oh.
Yeah,
Death's
that's okay.
name.
Oh, sorry, we're talking about someone else. Sorry.
We're talking about.
Confusing me.
I'm sorry. I was Axe body spray. What's that called in Britain?
Lynx.
Lynx.
What?
Oh, Lynx.
That's what we were talking about. Yeah.
That's what I was trying. I was trying to remember what it was. But yeah, okay. That Lynx body spray motherfucker, the steward of Jovalt Coachwell.
No, Javot is the father who's hired you.
Right. No, this is the steward of him.
Yes.
That's with us, though.
That
That's
came to hire us, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. We
Sorry,
all on the
I
same
caught up.
page?
Yes. And that person is with us on our airship and didn't leave early.
No, they did not.
Okay, because maybe I'll put him in the harness.
Ah,
Maybe he
some
wants to see what
morning-
it's.
Some mornings the fires take a little longer to stoke. I apologize.
What?
Yeah.
Whatever. Bart's like as far away from this steward as possible, and it's just like, you smell worse today than you did yesterday. I don't understand how this is possible.
Are you still talking to me?
No,
Okay.
you smell the same.
Oh, well, I can certainly fix that. And he reaches into like these bat wing like
Don't do it.
sleeves.
Hold
And
on,
it-
do it.
And he pulls out a very ornate black bottle with like a tiger like embellished upon it. And it's one of those squeezy.
Oh God.
Car Noir, it's Tiger Noir.
If I'm not upwind, I shuffle there very quickly.
Yeah. Ode to Tiger. Okay. Yeah, Bart is like, no, that's the I'm sorry, but that's what makes you smell bad. I don't know if anyone's ever told you this before, but some people have sensitivities to chemical smells like that. It irritates them. And some people, like me, react violently when they're irritated. And like his branch hands like crack. I'm not gonna threaten him, but I just did a little bit.
I was gonna say,
Okay. So we're on the airship.
Bart woke up early, but that doesn't mean he's in a good mood. You know what I mean? See, that's how it works. He gets up and he helps people, but he's still crank.
Morning people don't exist. It's a lie.
That's not true. Also, can you get a little bit closer to your mic?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm just having a little bit of hard time hearing you.
Is that better?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm loath to admit a lack of knowledge in the subject, but why do we think she sang this dragon goddess song, this Tamara song?
Well, I mean, that's with the blood on the hearth that returns all the time, screams like possession, doesn't it?
It does sound like that. But when we had the clerics checked her out, they did all the rituals and spells and whatnot. They found out it was quite normal.
I wonder if then we're dealing with a skinwalker and this girl is already dead and something possesses her flesh.
Bad news for the fiancé.
Unless he's wanted to marry something that can change skins all the time. I mean, it could be interesting.
What is this skinwalker?
I've experienced something similar in my day. It can be quite fun.
Of course. You know what? I went there and I just,
And of
it's
course,
like
she could always just have, musical proclivities.
Morning, Dorothea.
She's like talking as she's making tea.
I realized I was talking the entire time and I was on mute the whole time.
Oh no.
That's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
All right. Well, a skinwalker is going to be something that doesn't have its own flesh and wears the flesh of other creatures for power or for survival. It may or may not be able to possess the memories of the individual that it is skinned, but the only thing that's for sure is that the person that it was no longer exists if it is a skinwalker. This is just I'm just thinking out loud. It's not necessarily true, but going down the list.
Folks looks over at Death. He's like, and I hear they have a real thing for gnomes, so watch it, you little glitter gold loving.
Leave my gnome baby alone. But also, Lenobi just looks over, like as Bart was talking, they just kind of kept doing this and like we were very confused, and then goes, so should I make a new body?
I mean, I feel like a new body for she's dead.
For the skinwalker.
They don't need it. They need the skin. They don't need a body. You know what I mean? They wear it like a suit.
So make new skin.
Something to tempt it out. We have to find her first. She
And
disappeared.
look again, and like Bart like looks down at the floor and looks around for his like bucket of dirt and like finds it and starts rubbing it on his head, and he's just like, I was just thinking about what it could be. I don't want us to go preparing for a skinwalker if that's not what it is. I'm just saying, if it's not a poltergeist, it's not a possession, we have to think of it as not necessarily a spirit. Then it could be a spirit that cohabitates, but generally that leads to madness on the person who they exist with.
Folks jumps up on a crate and starts doing Bartholomew's hard to reach back bits. Here you go, mate.
Thank you. How much longer? It's like a 3-hour. Yeah, okay.
So unless you have any more conversations you'd like to do, we can time skip.
I'll pull out my deck of cards, play some spades with folks.
We pretty much covered the questions we could ask, right?
Pardon?
About the-
You can certainly ask more questions, yes.
Has everybody asked the questions that we think? We kind of covered a lot of it at the end of last session with what we think is happening. But are there any other questions that we have for the situation? If not, then yes, time skip.
Yeah, I don't have anything else until we get there.
Yeah, okay.
Time skip.
Okay, so
Y'all both did this. That's a time skip. That's how you do it. So say you gotta let us know.
Yep.
Time.
Well, look,
both
I've watched
aged
Doctor
ourselves.
Who before, so
So,
I was thinking, yeah.
3 hours later. Mid-morning. At first you hear the ocean. And then you see the looming mountain that is at the heart of Waterdeep. As you draw closer, you of course see the walking statues. Before, tiny little houses, the size of pinpricks, seem to fill this walled city in various detail. The city, coastal, there's farmlands all around it. All on the outside of this huge, tall wall that encapsulates it from coast to coast all the way round. And as you draw nearer, you can also see the keep, built high into one of the tall hills of Waterdeep. Where would you like to choose to sit down?
The hills of Waterdeep. I vote because we do not want somebody to come repo the ship.
Okay, so the hills of Waterdeep are in the Waterdeep city, one being the keep, and the other one just being a very large mountain, which people say beneath the mountain is under mountain.
Are you going to let me go there this time? I want to go just once. Just have us. We can go down that big hole in the yawning portal. It'd be great. I just want to go back in the caverns. And look, I mean, do we know what are the Griffin cavalry like? Do they allow parking?
Do I have to get the blimp validated? Like,
who do we see?
Speaking of the Griffin cavalry,
Who?
as you have already drawn close enough, it is not long before, yes, in the sky, you can see that bird-like shape with legs, riders with lances. About 5 of them in a perfect arrow formation. You're quite sure that if this was some kind of festival, they'd probably have some like prestidigitate smoke or something in various colours.
Green
Begin.
griffins.
My people are so dilated right now.
Well, we're either getting the royal welcome or we're in some deep shit.
But either way, I'm gonna go get my tools.
Well, if I leap onto the back of one of them and disengage one of the riders, I think I can use that griffin to crash into the others and create a distraction fast enough for you all to.
Now, settle down, settle down.
Conversation, and then we'll be like, we talked about optimism, Bart.
They already know we're
Optimism.
here one way or the other. I'm gonna get out like a very paisley silk handkerchief and just kind of hold it up in my hand and wave it out in the air like, "Hello, over yonder."
And you find that this V formation kind of like straightens out. It kind of like dives down beneath, out of your sight, before you hear that whoosh sound of feathers and flight. And they come up over around the balloon. But as they come up to do this maneuver, they seem to break out and surround you. All except one that goes over the top. And then, of course, Griffin, flapping, presents himself at the front of the ship.
We're an investigative group. What are we called again? Did we ever come up with a name for us?
Hi, we're Spirits and Scones.
Spirits and Scones. We're representatives of Spirits and Scones, an academic research facility specializing in the paranormal.
Are you familiar with the Code Legal?
Well, I am familiar with the concept of Code Legal.
Waterdeep has a very specific Code Legal that we expect you to abide by.
Well, we could theoretically abide by it.
But what are they?
God damn it, now I need to go to the Waterdeep chat. Note to self, Leonie, do not set things in places where you're a player. I have it because it was pinned because we're organized like that.
Yeah.
Code Legal the First, crimes against the god. Assaulting a priest or lay worshipper is imprisonment up to a 10-day and damages up to 500 gold coins. Otherwise known as dragons. Disorderly conduct within a temple, a fine up to 5 dragons, and an edict. Public blasphemy against a god or church is an edict. Theft of temple goods and offerings, imprisonment up to a 10-day and damages up to double the cost of stolen items. Tomb robbing is strictly forbidden, imprisonment up to a 10-day and damages covering the cost of repairs plus 500 dragons. Code Legal the Second, crimes against the citizens. Assaulting a citizen, imprisonment up to a 10-day, a flogging and damages up to 1,000 dragons. Blackmailing or intimidating a citizen, fine or damages up to 500 GP and an edict. Burglary, imprisonment up to 3 months and damages equal to the value of stolen goods plus 500 dragons. Disturbing the peace, fine up to 225 dragons and an edict. Murdering a citizen without justification, death or hard labor up to 10 years and damages up to 1,000 dragons. This is to be paid to the victim's kin. Murdering a citizen with jurisdiction, exile up to 5 years or hard labor up to 3 years. Damages up to 1,000 dragons, paid to the victim's kin. Robbery, hard labor up to 1 month, damages equal to the value of stolen goods plus 500 dragons. Slavery, flogging and hard labor up to 10 years. Using magic to influence a citizen without consent, fine or damages up to 1,000 dragons. This is all very long here, he says. You just...
Well, I don't see anywhere where it says skulls and scones broke any of them their laws.
Everyone who is not a citizen or a noble of this state is given fair warning about how their punishment will be if they do not conduct themselves in an orderly fashion.
How is your society based on dragons as a currency? Or do adult dragons, are they equal to more dragons than like a juvenile? Like, how do I collect 1,000?
Where did they
adult
find them
dragons?
all? My clan was searching for one for decades.
Do kobolds count as a dragon? Is that like,
Yeah.
because that seems like how that would work. 1,000 kobolds that I pay in damages to somebody for.
Here, right?
Pardon?
Axe guy is still here, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I'm gonna like kind of shuffle, like herd him over to the guy on the griffin. Like I don't want to pick him up, but I'm just like, no, go this way. No, here. Just like,
That's right. Feed it. It looks hungry.
stop.
Pretty sure that griffin could
We were
eat that
hired
guy
as
easy.
this guy, so anything that's done by spirits and scone in the way of Waterdeep is going to be completely under these people because they're why we're here. And then just kind of like, there you go.
And they signed this contract, which gives up all liability in an event that we do anything that breaks the law. It's right here in the fine print, actually, on our contract.
Asterisk was because of this.
I had to have our group put that in there because of me, actually. If we get hired, technically, it's not my fault if something happens. Whoops.
Bartholomew, we told to stop telling the local authorities about that.
Oh, right. God, there's so many. Look, I got overwhelmed by the amount of rules that Fly McBird over here was telling me about.
Oh, of course, the steward of the Coachwells. Please let us escort you to their estates. And you notice a complete change in his demeanor just by seeing this.
I wonder if it's the perfume. Maybe that's what helps. But it smells so bad.
It's quite rather overwhelming.
How many dragons do you think he has?
I'm excited.
Dragons are not... They're just coins, and he rustles in his pouch and brings out a very beautiful coin. And yes, you see it has a dragon on it, and he does show this to you, Bart, and to you, Fox.
But what's the basis of this economy? For each one of these coins, there's a dragon somewhere, right?
No, it can't work like that, surely.
They're just called dragons because there's a dragon on the coin. And this is a nib. This is a harbor moon. I forget what the other ones are called.
I feel like it's like that piece of paper you get when you're learning coins, and it's like, this is a coin, this is a nickel.
Okay. Well, I mean, it makes much more logistical sense that you don't have to pay somebody 1,000 dragons if you mind probe them without their consent. Okay.
I'm not going to pretend I'm not disappointed, but 1,000 dragons that are 1,000 coins is a close second.
Yeah, right, money.
Well, but yes, while you are here, even though we have a contract, you are still tied to the code legal. But thankfully, you're working under the Coachwells and their nobility, so there's very little a noble can be punished for, except crimes against the city.
Oh wait, so let me get this straight if I'm confused here. There's a code of rules for everybody in the city, but depending on your social standing, the amount of things that you can actually be put in jail for / get in trouble for are different.
Of course, money makes the world go round.
I prefer social sitting. Social standing is so tiring.
I'm just trying to understand. So if I kill your lord, do I inherit his title?
Of course not. He has a will, and that goes to his daughter.
Okay.
Well, what if you bought the throne?
There is no throne in Waterdeep. We're led by council.
How many dragons would it take for me to buy a noble's standing within a city?
Well, recently we had a whole drow house move in because they had 250. They found 500,000 dragons apparently.
Found.
Yeah. Drow? Okay. They found it. Gotcha. I wonder how many dwarves died for that money.
Lord Bartholomew.
I'm just saying, I want to go into every town that we find and get a noble title so that I am immune from a lot of trouble that I seem to find myself in.
Fawkes gleefully skips up to the rigging. He's like, "Hey, hey, citizens of Waterdeep! Lord Bartholomew approaches!"
And Bard like walks up behind you and like puts his hand up and starts doing the wave. He's like, I am but a humble master of people. Listen to me and plant trees in your yard, for these are the things that are important to me, your lord.
By the way, impersonating an official or noble is flogging, imprisonment up to a 10-day and a fine of 500 dragons.
We haven't crossed the walls yet. We haven't crossed the walls.
Wait, how high up do these rules go? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm 500 feet above the city, does it count?
I mean, I would, as DM, I would say the rules go as high as griffins can go.
Okay.
But you are given your griffin escort, and you kind of see, like, to the south of Waterdeep, and it's kind of like this weird square-shaped city just planted on the coast. To the south of this rectangle, you can see, like, an area that is completely dedicated to dock life. This is where the majority of ships are, but it's also where the less impressive looking buildings are. As you start to float over, you notice that this greatly improves as you get to the middle. You start to see green areas. An entire area to the right seems to be dedicated to, you see some graves, you see these grand statues of and buildings and morgues of like various shapes and sizes. And like a whole large section of the city is dedicated to this. And then the more north you go, you start to see incredibly grand buildings dedicated to various gods, which you note by the symbols on their roofs, in their gardens, etc. And then to like the northwest of this city, bordered by a bit of wall with spectacular views of the sea, you see the finest villas that you have ever seen. And you're directed to one with a large garden. The griffins guide you. They circle down and prepare for your landing. As you set down in what you assume to be the Coachwell's villa.
Real fancy place here. A little bougie, but
Little too fancy, if you ask me.
it's questionable. I don't generally like to trust folks with exorbitant amounts of wealth. That's just my experience, though.
It's always so weird to me that people that have so much money and can buy whatever they want have such terrible taste.
Well, it's not like they have marble floors and gold faucets. Not like the Casalantas.
Yeah, but why is everything this dark, heavy cherry wood? Not only are these trees painfully stained, but it sucks all the light out of everything. It's just... Ugh. All right.
It's a shame to waste such nice trees. They blossom so nicely.
Agreed.
And you're not waiting long before, you see the steward climb his way out very unsuccessfully. He doesn't seem like a very active man. So, like, literally hoisting his leg over the side seems to be great effort. You even notice that shapely calf muscle of his ostentatious outfit has shifted down a bit, where it's
I knew
padded. And he tries to dust himself off and make himself presentable. And it's not long before a man with pointed facial hair and a magnificent moustache, large, ostentatious ruff, wearing silver and red, comes out of the back doors into the garden in his hand, a mature but fairly young lady on his arm. Once again, with those, they're not called ruffs, I forget what they call those bits that come out the back and they're there, and you know what I mean. Those things. You're all nodding, so I know you know what I mean. Just kind of wearing this kind of, I'm going to say, Elizabethan style outfit. And they approach the boat. The woman smiling politely, but you can also see that there's like tears in her eyes. Her eyes are kind of red and bloodshot, but she's wearing so much white face powder and is wearing so much heavy rouge that you possibly can't tell.
Hopefully it's not lead-based.
I'm going to say it's not.
Okay, good. They at least got one thing right over.
Well, if you've got magic, you can just press the Digitate magic on your
Right,
your
true.
face.
That's true. True. You don't need to lace it with lead. Okay.
Yeah. And they approach. The man doesn't seem worried. But the woman, in her eyes, as I said, they're quite teary.
This is definitely not when you want Bart to start talking to these people, so somebody better step up.
Lenobi just walks over, like joins them, not joins them, but like meets up with them because they're walking towards us. You were saying,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and introduces themselves to her, like the thing servers do when they put the check in front, like they choose who the dominant one is. That's where the check. He just goes over to her. Go, hi, you hired us. We're spirits and scones.
Sorry, can you say spirits and scones again for me one more time?
Spirits and scones.
Love it.
Do you say scone or do you say scone? Because I've heard it both ways.
I say scone.
Scone.
I was like scones. No.
Spirit and scone.
Know what you just asked me for, but no.
And she's like, oh, I am Lady Coachwell, and this is my husband, Lord Coachwell. And he spreads his arms wide, and he's like, welcome, friends. I have been waiting for you. I am so glad you're here to find my dear, dear Carice.
Are there any like butler or house servants around them?
There's some, but by the back doors where they have left them.
Okay, because Bart's gonna like 100% walk past both of them and head straight towards those people.
Okay, you may do so.
So you guys can do all of the niceties, but Bart's like, take me to the room, take me to the hearth that's bleeding, and take me to the places that I need to go. But please feel free to introduce yourselves and talk with the people that are actually going to pay us. Bart may not know this.
I'm gonna pipe up and say, I may not have much sight left, but I still do have most of my hearing, and I'm just gonna say that don't sound like the voice of a man that seems awful sad about his daughter missing.
Oh my Carice. She likes to get into trouble, she does. This isn't the first time. And I'm not worried, quite frankly, unlike my dear wife. And you hear that kind of passing hand noise.
Oh man, I thought he was slapping her around. Okay, cool.
No, that would have been a completely different noise, but no, we also don't do that here.
No, I know. That's why I was surprised.
Just
as I was-
right in front of us.
Yep.
Yes, and this is my wife.
Gah, gah, gah. She's just a little bit hysterical right now. That's what I thought was gonna happen.
Old timey movies, my God.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize.
Oh, we're not coming from the airplane school.
Okay. Did your daughter have a stewardess or an assistant, a handmaid,
Nursemaid, yes.
nursemaid, and that was it?
Mm-hmm. She doesn't keep much company.
Just her lessons.
Yes.
Was there anybody else she did lessons with?
She had a painting teacher. She briefly took up fencing. There was the brief stint where she wanted to learn to go riding. There was the time that she wanted to be a magician. And so we tried to get someone to teach her magic. That didn't go well. She's not magically inclined. Then there was the time she wanted to take up knitting. Then there was the time she wanted to make butter. Then there was the time that she had a garden. And he points over to like a far-flung corner. And everything here is very manicured. Like everything is very straight and angular and perfect. And there's not a grass piece too high, and you kind of see someone there with like a pair of scissors just like individually cutting this to the perfect height. But beyond this, in a tucked away dark corner, you kind of see like a very messy, not organic, very organic but and not structured at all, overgrown, abandoned, half dead garden.
And remind me, because I think I recall this. She was currently obsessed with archery, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
Could you show us to her rooms, please?
Her room or your rooms?
Hers?
Yes.
Hers on the way.
Of course, I'll give you a grand tour. Follow me.
Like as they turn to go walk, Lenova's kind of gonna walk backwards, so they're back with the group and they can't hear him. So does anybody else notice that everything she had a sudden interest in were ways to survive outside?
Well,
Basically training to be an adventurer.
I had the same idea when I was a little girl. It was moderately successful, as you can see.
Well, if she runs off with an archer and she knows fencing, some type of way to get food outside of buying it, and different ways to defend herself, I am going to suggest that maybe she wanted to do more than just be a lady.
Or she just got really bored all the time with everything and never stuck with it.
The engagement to a different noble family sounds like a choice that maybe was not hers.
And like while you're having this private conversation, Lord Coach was completely oblivious to the fact that he's completely, and he's like, oh yes, this came all the way from Chote, this marble, and this water here is purified by the priestesses of the and then like when you're in the house, he's like, oh yes, and this is my great grandfather, Lord Coachwell the First.
flaunting and we're flaunting.
I just kind of want to choke this dude until he dies. Anybody
No,
else with one? Okay, all right.
Sorry.
Sorry. Bart has like sort of walked over to the hand like servants or whatever, these people that like hang out to get whimsical food, and he like turns to one of them and it says, "Where's the archery instructor?" And he like throws money at them. So like 10 gold pieces, he just like chucks 10 gold pieces at this person. And is like, "Where's the archery instructor?"
Did I give you a name for him? I can't find it.
No.
Okay.
I think it was just mentioned that the archery was her current like obsession, and I think
Okay.
that was it. I don't think there was a name.
Okay. Douglas.
Okay. Turns out Douglas taught her all of these things. Weird. No, just kidding.
He was dismissed as soon as the lady went missing. His services weren't required, so why would we pay him?
I'm giving you this money to tell me where he is. I don't care if he's not on the grounds. Where does he live?
You can find him down in the dock ward. That would be Smuggler's Run.
Okay, cool. Just someplace. Okay. Name. Insert name here. Got it.
No, it is a place in Waterdeep.
Okay, well, I mean, Bart has no idea. Has never been to Waterdeep, and so okay. Thank you for your time and also for your service to these incredibly dull and incredibly smelly people.
The coach trials are really not that bad. I mean, and then a young woman steps out of the room. I've worked for some people who are like, very hands-on. Not my sort at all.
Okay, well, I'm good to hear that at least this place is not that terrible.
No, they keep us well paid, and as long as we do our duties. But the ghost hauntings is something awful.
Does it only impact you folks, or?
Well, the rumors are that we're not the first. See, we only moved in like a month ago. And the prior owner had this house for years. But he killed himself because the hauntings drove him mad. There's at least 4 ghosts here.
And one of them was his wife, correct?
No. They're all male of
Okay.
Guys, we definitely need to upsell cleaning out the whole house. We could really get a fortune here.
If we do a by room basis, I feel like that will definitely increase our usefulness and then also the number on the invoice.
And they pay in dragons. I know it's just a name.
But at least
cool.
It's probably like at least 3% gold, which is probably pretty good.
So are we gonna follow up on this archer or look inside or?
Well, we have not yet been shown to the young lady's room. We should probably investigate that first.
Yeah, I want to talk to this archer as fast as I can, because if he was let go immediately after she disappeared, he has no loyalty to the family, and also he might tell us more. But sure, let's investigate inside, I suppose.
So you don't directly go to her room. You're led through various galleries. Sorry, that word.
Galleries?
Galleries. There we go. God, what is wrong with me today? Various galleries. We're not on the ship anymore, Leonie. And rooms, a ballroom, sitting room number 2, a library, you're showing some books, more pictures of more ancestors. Before eventually, yes, you get to Carissa's room. And the door is open, and it has that cold, you know, when you're away on holiday for a bit, and you come back, and there's that just cold, unlived feeling in it. And the room is absolutely immaculate. It's so you enter one room and it's just an instant sitting room before you're shown like a small little like hidden door that leads to a bedroom, and then in there is also a wardrobe. And as I said, this place is immaculate. And there's dust. But you also know that she's been away for a 10-day. And not all of you have put your passive perceptions up. So quickly shout at me what your passive perceptions are.
Oh, mine's
14.
15.
Mine, 22.
Okay. Folks, I will say that you would know that this dust is more than 2 weeks worth.
Hmm.
And also they have help. Why is this room so dusty?
Who was leading us?
The father and the mother. Mother's just quietly.
And is the hearth where all the blood appears and disappears, is that in this area?
No, it's not. That would be in the main hall. He would proudly show it to you, and you would see that it's been freshly scrubbed away, like you see, and the rock is well worn.
So
And
it's done regularly.
It's done every day. You are informed.
Okay.
And every night it comes back.
The dust does.
The blood.
Bloodstain.
Oh, the bloodstain. Okay.
Yes, it's at the fireplace in the main hall.
Okay.
Well, that's a bit strange, but I've heard, old bloodstains tend to stick around even though they're painted over, scrubbed and whatnot. This dust, so this young lady hasn't been gone 2 weeks, has she?
Oh, it's been nearly a 10-day. Oh, I think it's a 10-day today.
Why is this room so undisturbed?
Oh, she barely touched anything in here.
The floor as well.
You kind of like see rugs, so you're not sure if that's dusty or not. She had her habits, my daughter.
Where did she stay then? If this isn't where she slept and lived, where did she stay?
It really depends on what obsession she'd have that week.
So her current obsession was archery before she left. Where would she sleep if that was her obsession?
Oh, we'd set up a archery target thing for her round by the stables. I think she stayed round there.
Who witnessed this strange prayer that she uttered before disappearing?
Oh, we all heard it. She was always humming it, no matter where she went. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Although I never really saw her around breakfast and lunch, but dinner. We always tried to have dinner together, you see.
Before she disappeared, did she have a change in manner at all? Grumpy to very happy, or the opposite?
She wasn't very happy when we moved here. She didn't
I can see why.
She didn't like the house. But she's always been quite a boisterous type of girl. I guess she got a bit quiet towards the end, don't you think, dear? The wife said.
So how long before her disappearance was she humming and singing the prayer of tomorrow?
2 days, maybe.
Okay. And so there's an adjoining room here, correct?
Yeah, so there's I would doodle it for you because I enjoy doing that.
I just wanted to know if there was a layer of dust in every single room, like that.
So this is the grand entranceway, and then this would be like the sitting room, and then there's like this little lobby bit with a hidden door. This is her bedroom. This is her wardrobe. You'd see the wardrobe probably is the most disturbed part.
Okay.
Does it seem like there's clothes missing from the wardrobe?
Hard to tell. It's actually a complete mess, unlike the rest of the room. And you can see various hobbies stacked up into this room. Different outfits, various things.
What time does the blood reappear?
We've tried to pinpoint this ourselves by keeping a watch and whatnot, and we've just never been able to pinpoint it. Sometimes it seems completely haphazard, happening at midnight, happening at 10. It really doesn't matter. All that matters is that the next day that blood will be there.
And it's always dark, so it doesn't happen when there's light.
Correct.
Okay. Bart turns to that group and says, well, I think we should check out the archery area if that's what she was obsessed with, because obviously she didn't live here. And then I want to go speak with Douglas. And then we should be back before nightfall to watch the bloodstain.
Sound course of action.
Because I don't know what else to do. We don't really have any more leads other than the archery thing. And then also the ghosts that were already here. And they may have been witnesses to something that everyone else missed.
Well, you heard, my lord. Let's get going.
If only it was real. If I had a cloak, maybe I would feel more lordy. And Bart pretends to have a cloak and swishes it. It's not real.
Mine won't fit.
It's okay. Don't worry. I don't like clothes. It's just fabric. It's fine. But I just feel like you have to, if I could just hold something here so that when I talked.
Oh, you want to be a masked lord?
At least a phantom of some sort.
Yeah, they have a nice opera house.
Opera, yes. That is something that I'm interested in. Maybe if we have some free time. But for now, let us go search for Carissa's sleeping and like living space.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's something anybody else wants to do, please interrupt.
Is that? Can we do like just an investigation or perception in here before we leave it, just to see? And like you said, the wardrobe was disturbed. Is it just to collect clothes, or is there something else in there or something?
What are you specifically looking for? Because that's how investigation checks work.
Any like secret compartments or like diaries hidden away or anything like that?
Yeah, no, yeah. I'll make a pass around the room and just kind of tap my cane against the wall, listening in for hollow spots.
Okay, so roll me an investigation check for the walls. Roll me an investigation check as you rummage through the wardrobe.
Okay. Just a 9.
I think you were muted.
I said a 20, but a dirty 20, not a natural 20.
Okay. So you're knocking. What room out of the rooms are you in? Are you in the bedroom? Are you? Well, I know you are, folks, but Dorothea, where are you? Are you in the sitting room? Are you in the bedroom?
I think we all went into the bedroom, so I'd still be in the bedroom with her.
Okay,
just kind of cruising around with things.
knocking around the room.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a hollow sound just by her bedside. There's a tapestry there. You move it aside. You find, yes, another secret door. You press it to release the mechanism. And you see it's a very well-used servants' gangway. You've seen these before in the many parties that you have attended in noble houses. It's just a way for servants to get around the house, unseen by those that don't want them to be seen. Fawkes, with your 9, you discover that this girl has had a ton of hobbies. You mention a hobby, she's pretty much had it. You even find like some construction tools in here. But that is all.
Okay.
There is
Well,
also
like,
there is a dresser. There is also a writing desk.
Can you tell like what level of proficiency she's at with these things?
Are they all like really new, not used very much?
So I'm just trying to think about how to answer this, and if you can.
Right. I mean, it's totally fine if you can't. I just, it's
They've
because
had some use, and like some of them, especially like the beginning tools, are heavily used. But as they kind of get more advanced, they're less used. If that helps.
sounds like my education.
Not to subtly throw shade.
Yeah.
So, before say that, Lenobi, you're good with plans and documents and things. Is she scribbling anything over there? Like gestures towards the writing desk.
Use my Lenobi eyes. They are squinty and see things.
Okay, so it's one of those triangular writing desks. The key is in it. You can unlock it. As soon as you pull it down, you notice that in the center of this desk is like a extravagant clockwork music box. And it's not just got musical notes, it's also got like moving parts. And it begins to play this tune. I'm not going to hum the tune because I can't be asked today. My voice hurts. But it would sound something like Chrono Trigger. No, it wouldn't be that. But it would sound like Chrono Trigger, the Singing Mountains theme tune, if you are familiar with it.
Wow. Okay. I thought maybe you're gonna go Gato on that one, but okay, good, cool.
And it just plays until it ends. And there seems to be some like untouched writing paper. There's pens and there's ink and there's ink stains.
You said untouched writing paper?
Yes. You know, that's like pretty headed paper.
Yeah, like has like a thing. Is there any other papers? Is it all just a pile of papers?
It's like a pad, you know, kept in a presentation place.
On the desk, right?
Not on the desk, no.
On the desk, no. Could I lift up the music box?
It's pretty fixed.
Oh, it's like on the desk.
Yes, it's like built into the desk. It's part of the desk.
Lenobi, do a rubbing on the pad. See what she wrote last.
I was gonna say, time to get out your graphite charcoal pen.
I'm gonna do that, or attempt to. I do have like writing tools.
Okay, I'll happily let you do that. writing paper has never been used. There's no indentation of it. It's like one of those, you know, when you get one of those beautiful stationery boxes, and it's like got the ribbon on it. Yeah, it's pretty much like that.
I would like to crawl under the desk.
Okay, you do. And even though this music box and all its like moving pieces is quite extravagant, you know that there's a lot more to this desk hidden away.
Oh, wait. Can I close the music? Like I'm under it, and then you see Leonie's hand. So sorry. And you see Lenobi's hand come up and like close the music box, and then open the music box again while they're under there to see if the music makes any mechanisms move under the desk to see how they work.
So you can't see any mechanisms of how it makes it work. It's all sealed. But what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, if anything is moving under the desk, like does the music box make things happen?
You need Bart to rip this fucking wall?
No, I do not need.
Like, do you need me to just barehandedly grab it? Okay, fine. Can I punch it? Look, the mechanisms are behind the mechanisms are behind the wall, right?
Okay, so I've done you a quick scribble. Okay, so so everything is all like this is all like this is all like backwards for me. So like all the fancy stuff is in the middle here, and then all of this kind of goes back, but only to a certain point. Like at this point, it just like stops.
Oh no, yeah, no, that's totally a false thing. I'm just start palming everything. Just no.
Okay.
Does it work like pressing against anything?
What are you pressing against?
I am pressing against the wall that doesn't seem like it goes back far enough.
Okay, so you're pressing against the wall of
the desk. Like
of the desk.
It kind of stops. I want to try to play around with it. That's obviously a false back.
Okay, it doesn't move.
Does it slide?
No.
Does it go up?
No.
Does it go forward?
No.
God damn it!
Does it burn?
No.
You rang.
I would like to roll an Arcana check to see if I, as an artificer, would recognize something else that is an inanimate object that has been imbued with magic.
I will allow you to make an Arcana roll as an artificer, but not for that reason.
But not for that reason. Okay, understood. All right, creamsicle dice. Let's see what you do. 19. Sorry, I got super excited about that.
Yeah, hell yeah, creamsicle though. Now I want a creamsicle soda. Damn. All right.
Arcana +5, 19 +5. So.
Yeah. Okay, so you're getting all excited now as you're like fiddling with this. Like you know there's something here.
Right, like you've never seen Lenobi more snake-like than when they are investigating something. Like I am like crawling on it. My leg is over there, but I'm over here.
Your attention goes back to the music box. And you look at the scene. And obviously you've got the spinny wheel with the pegs. And you notice you don't know what takes over you, but you just wind it up again. And you listen to the song. There's just one song that just sounds a little bit off key. And you've got I don't know what this is called, the scroll and the pegs. And each of the like note clicks that it like pings as it goes round, they're shaped like flowers, except one.
Push it.
Yeah, click.
That maniacal laughter was in character.
Of course it was.
And the back goes in and slides, revealing quite a nice, quite pretty, gold, filigree, embossed book.
Bingo.
That felt good.
There might be more. Do you want me to look for it? There might be some more in there.
Like Lenobia is sitting on top of the desk, not in the chair, but on the desk over the book, like. What does it say? I rolled to read.
And as you flick open the first page, it's here. We're going to take a quick break.
It says explosive runes.
Like,
The house just explodes into flames.
Glyph of warding.
Yep.
Wasn't me.
oh no!
At least you don't have to worry about the bloodstain now.
Yep, exactly. Look, it doesn't matter. I mean, there might be a blood stain, but no one's gonna be alive. To
4 matching ones.
Right, everybody, we're going to have a quick break, stretch our legs and go do things, go do the same. And then when we come back, we'll find what's in this book. We're probably also going to talk about Mass Effect a little bit because we had to stop so we could go live. So we'll be back soon. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to A Date with Death, our game where we're thirsty on main. I am your DM for this thirsty game, although there hasn't been much thirsting this session. I need to fix that. I will fix that. I know just where I'm going to fix that. So, of course, Date with Death, where we have a date with death. And the party at the moment are investigating the missing daughter of the Coachwell family in Waterdeep. There's some weird stuff going on. They literally just found a diary, which we're about to open. Lenobi, do you have the diary there? Day 347 of this hellhole. Father continues to ignore me with this weird and strange positive attitude. Mother is her usual docile self. No one seems to care that I exist or that what I want to do. No one seems to care about my wants or needs. Well, I'll show them. You flick a few more pages. Day 427 of this hellhole. I started falconry. Father got me a brand new falcon. I have decided to call him Flit. My falconry teacher is quite cute, I must admit, but he doesn't seem to be interested in some kind of romantic fling. I can't quite get Flit to return to my hand, and I'm not too sure how this is supposed to work for hunting, but here we go. You go to the next page. Day 100, whatever I said, +1. Flit flew away. Falconry lessons cancelled. You skip to the end. We have now moved into this house. Father thought it would be a grand idea, one, because it's large and it's cheap, but also because it's haunted. He doesn't believe it's haunted, even though the servants we inherited seem scared half to death. So far we have a bloodstain that doesn't remove. Jangling chains. The sightings of a headless spectre, a ghoul, and blue fire that seems to come from nowhere. I went to the archives to find out more information about this house, and apparently it burnt down once, when it was owned by a Sir Rule D. Vandersand. Apparently he killed his lady after returning from some war. And burnt the house down with him inside it. There were also rumours that he was a warlock and was cavorting with devils. You turn the page. I've seen him.
That's it. That's all. It just says I've seen him. What day was that? Or what day was that in relation to where what time it is now? Like how many days ago?
16 days ago.
16 days ago.
Oh, good. My favorite. A possession by what could have been a warlock. Those shits are never bitter, angry that they were never given the proper amount of power that they deserved, nor do they stay forever in those hated moments. This will be fun, I guess, again and again.
I am sorry, I'm going through everything. Are any of the none of the servants are in this room with us?
No, you're by yourselves.
We're by ourselves. I'm gonna turn to everybody else then. And point out that sorry, I was taking notes. And pointed out, and I'm gonna point out that when they did that when they did inherit, they said they inherited all of the staff and everything. So if we talk to them about the old owners to get confirmation about the whole warlock thing, then maybe we can talk about what they were working on. There has to be some type of workspace that he had if he was practicing magic in this house.
Or at least I mean, if the house burned down, whatever altar he had to his patron would probably have been burnt as well. Who knows? It might still
Why
be
did
there.
it burn down? Because if it was a circle or something like that, that kind of stays etched into the ground.
So what I'm seeing right now is we have two problems: some sort of bitter warlock vengeance spirit thing in this house, and then also a missing girl. Are they related? Is the question.
Perhaps when they moved into this house, it latched onto her. Why did I turn into an Irish accent? I don't know. Don't know.
Dorothea, my God, you sound younger and
They're possessed.
oh my God, she is possessed. That's it. I'm sorry, Dorothea. I'm gonna have to take you out.
Snake starts spewing out of my mouth.
Oh wow.
Why did you eat my cousins?
Yeah, I know. Oh my God.
Stop eating my cousins.
I didn't know you could store. I didn't know you.
This week has been a year, okay?
Right. I didn't know you could store that many snakes inside of your body.
Maybe when she moved
Fireball,
into
fireball,
this
fireball,
house,
fireball.
it latched on to an unhappy spirit, as they are wont to do.
Right. If
Certainly
she's
sounds like one of them.
unhappy, I just her need to flirt and be loved by her many teachers, as evidenced by her falconry thing. We need to find out if this Douglas is handsome. And if he is, dibs is what I'm saying. But also we need to find out if she wanted to escape seeing this Vandersand and the headless specters, ghouls, and jangling chains and blue flames, if they all can be explained away by this singular entity or not. Because it could be that we have several different hauntings here. Peaceful, tormented souls held in chains by a warlock.
For the power they could give?
Or just because warlocks tend to be shitty people who can't deal with not having power.
So I find it very hard to imagine any kind of world where the archery instructor isn't devilishly handsome.
I mean, look, there are some places in the world where you're good at something, and that doesn't also mean that you have a large mane of brown hair that glistens in the dewlight, piercing green eyes and dimples and large, luscious lips, painted the color of the cherry blossoms in spring, huge bulging biceps and rock hard abs that go on forever because your torso is gigantic, squat legs that mean that you could probably carry a really heavy plant person across the threshold of their new cottage in the woods. But maybe not. Maybe they're not attractive. I don't know. We have to find Douglas. I want to check out because it looks like we have two avenues. I don't know if you guys want to split up or if you all want to go together to do these two very different things, which is investigating this house for this haunting, and then also exploring outside of the house for things like Douglas and the location of this girl.
I've got experience talking to the undead and mumbo jumbo, and I just kind of jiggle my bag of dragon bones and herbs and
Tea.
Yep, dragon bones and tea. Yep, it's good to
tea.
keep them all together.
Now, Bartholomew, I want you to be honest now. Have you, in the past, had any kind of relationship with the Douglas fir? Are you thinking back romantically to that situation?
I find all furs to be beautiful in their own way, and if their names happen to be Douglas, that just is a coincidence. Also, evergreens are beautiful.
And smell good too.
It's true. Not to say that there's anything wrong with the deciduous trees. I just, Anyway, yeah. What we were talking about, splitting up. I wanted to know if everybody wanted to split up or if we wanted to stay together and concentrate.
Yeah, that never goes well. Let's stick together.
I want to say something, but I just feel like I'm prompting you, so I'm not going to.
Okay.
Well, you should though. Why? Because
this is everything I just said.
Yeah. I mean, apart from you just saying,
is everybody here?
Everyone should be.
In the same room?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, we're all just
there
kind
might
of
be.
We're following each other.
There might be a gnome that I'm willfully forgetting.
I mean, yeah, the death hasn't spoken at all. So I mean, that's kind of
hardly ever speaks. It's like a small axolotl. Like, why are you there other than to be cute and go?
Yes, no one's asked where Death is.
I mean,
assume
but-
he's.
Oh my god, Death! Oh my god.
Wow, that's the reaction. Holy shit.
Listen, you little shit. I'm blind, okay? I can't see.
It's okay. I wasn't saying. I was just the reaction was very surprising. That's all. I was willfully ignoring him. I didn't actually forget that he wasn't around.
I think the rest of your party
pokes Dorothy's snapdragon. Hey, wake up! Wake up!
I mean, Bartholomew was like, "Oh, I guess if you want to split the party, someone can look for Death too, because I'm gonna go to the archery range, and that's where I'm going." So yeah, I mean, I feel like again, Bart is really, his brain doesn't work very well when there's like multiple avenues of things to do. He's very single-minded. And so it's like a checklist in his brain where it's like, do this first, then do this. And so he really wants to check out Douglas. He wants to check out that archery thing. And if we want to look for Death, someone's going to have to convince him that that's actually important. Because right now we're on a mission to do this thing. And if Death is following us around on this mission, then they, him, she will find, Zur will find us. But it's up to everybody else. You know what I mean? Especially the one who wanted him to be a cute little gobbo so that they could hold him like a safety animal and snuggle them.
Well, apparently in a big city like this, Death's lurking around every corner, so we should find him pretty soon.
Yeah, our iteration specifically, though, I think is preferable to like getting shanked for our dragon supply.
Right. To the archery butts.
So just to clarify, are you going to the archery range they've set up by the stables, or are you going to see the archery teacher down in the dock ward?
I want to go specifically first to the stables and see if there's more of a lived-in feel there for Carice, and then go see the actual instructor. And the falconry instructor, the one that she thought was super hot, doesn't have a name, right? Like, it's not, I mean,
If it wasn't a
What
name, it was
mention?
just
What?
my teachers.
I mean, you can flick through it and find a name.
I just want to know if we need to also start looking for the falconry teacher because maybe she wanted to, if we're talking about like unrequited love, she might go find this falconry teacher and be like, yo, I'm sorry that you didn't love me.
You
Give me
you,
another chance.
you could definitely find
Right.
it
I
in the
also want
diary if you want to look
I
through it.
also want Flit to come back so I can have Shay and Flit hang out together, and the falcon can sit on his head and they can
Doggy
be
pretty
best friends.
friends.
Yep, exactly. Anyway, so yeah, Bart's heading there. If you guys want to go find Death, please convince Bart not to go down to the archery thing. Like, if we need to go search for him, please let me know that that's what you want to be doing.
Let's just keep our eyes open as we go.
Okay. Is that okay with everybody else? I'm trying not to.
The only other thing that I could think, I mean, and Lenobi will say this to the group. The only other thing that I could think for us to do, other than to go through with that, is to follow up and talk to the servants about the old owners in order to not confirm things, but to maybe get a better look into how the house worked before.
For sure. I mean, for sure. And let me explain it a little bit more in Bart's brain.
That are still following the tracks of a house that is no longer here.
Right. And in Bart's brain, doing that is once we come back from visiting Douglas, and while we're waiting for like the blood to reappear and do our examination, and that would be the time to like interview the servants that used to be in the house or are now in the house.
Right, because this rolled over from the people before, didn't they?
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of that's kind of how Bart would do it, like checklists. It's mostly just like the things he thinks of first happen first, and then later the other things happen. So, yeah, if that's okay with everybody, I want to make sure it's okay.
If we're not splitting up as a party, then I vote for us to continue what you're saying, so that we can all stay together and start the path.
Okay. Sure. I mean, we can split up too, 100%.
Okay, so the party is staying together.
Bart will just walk off by himself. Yeah, no.
That's why we're like, okay, if you're doing the thing, I'm gonna go with you.
Yeah, get back here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna head to the archery range and see if there's any sort of like lived-in situation there.
Okay, so you head back down into the main part of the house, and then you're shown not to the back garden where your balloon is parked and where the manicured lawns are, etc., but you're led like through the kitchens out the side to where the stables are. And it's quite an impressive stables. You reckon that it could possibly hold about 10 horses. However, you only see 4. There is a stable hand there.
You, stable hand. Where are the other horses?
The stable hand turns around. And you notice that they are the tiefling. They have tiny little nubs that you couldn't see.
Because they have giant antlers too. Is that
No. Okay, Let me just deplace these. Let me just put these.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna put these over here. I'm gonna put those over there. So they just have tiny little nubs. They have thick, luxurious red hair, and they have tiny little nub horns that you couldn't see from behind. I'll bring my antlers back now.
Hi.
The other horses?
Yeah.
Well, we've only ever had 4.
So you're not missing any.
No.
Okay. Where's the impromptu archery range / living quarters?
Oh, you mean the young Mrs. Pad. She tends to move that about. You can just find that round back. Just move the middle panel of the fence. It's like a narrow bit. It opens up behind the back of the stables.
Between you and me, how many more of these pads were there?
Let's see. There was the tree house, the one in the garden in the greenhouse. She dug herself one in the grotto. There was one behind the false wall in the library. There was one by the kitchen. You go through the grate. There was one in the attic. One inside a very large, empty wine bin. He counts on his fingers.
Oh my gosh.
But I do
Restless.
like wine.
Well, while they're counting, just gonna look over to Dorothea and go, okay, are we going under the assumption that she's secretly still here, or are we going under that she's with Falconer?
I
Are we
mean,
finding her?
it could be both.
Parents know that maybe they should just have another one.
Well, my dear, you can't really replace one child with another. That's not, well, some folks, but not all. Most of them, you just can't. It don't work like that. But I mean, there's no horses missing. There's no sign she fled in the middle of the night because there was clothes. Her clothes were still there though. There wasn't really anything missing, right?
Not that
It
you
was
could
just a
tell.
mess?
It was just a
Okay.
mess.
Yeah.
Um,
Can we be honest? Do we really think that your parents would notice how long she's actually been gone? It's
that
suddenly
room was awful dusty.
Yeah, just suddenly she wasn't there, but she's probably been gone for a while.
Sorry, Dorothy. What do you mean? You can't replace one child. I mean, they just get reborn in the next clutch of eggs.
Well, yes, but a lot of folks tend to get attached to their children. Now, I'm not saying that it's wrong to not be attached to children. Some of them it's like a circus tent. They just keep on walking out. But when you have just
Uh-huh.
I love Big Ma so much.
I lost my train of thought. But when you generally only have one or two, you tend to remember their names first of all, and you get a bit more attached.
I see.
Once you exceed 3, everything starts mushing together. That's why I'm
Yeah, back in my day, I may have had a few children in my time, but generally at my age, you even start to call the dog's name before you get the right name. So,
we're more of a kind of more the merrier group, but yeah, okay.
So to answer your question, I'm not quite sure, but I do think she's been missing much longer than her parents are making it out to be. Because even so, these are fancy folks, and they should be cleaning her room past the day that she first disappeared. That wouldn't be necessarily unnatural, but she's been missing for about 10 days, and that room is mighty dusty for a room girl gone 10 days.
And also, to be clear, that was an exhaustive journal that she had, like exhaustive.
Yeah, it seems
And it was
unlikely
at
for her to
least
leave that behind.
16 days at least, because that was when the last entry was. So, okay. Well, Bart will follow. I mean, he'll look at the tiefling and be like, "Are you one of the new servants, or have you been here?"
Oh, I'm new. They only hired me last week.
In the last
Did
week,
something happen to the
hiding place?
stable?
Yes, they fired him.
Was it the archery teacher? Was this the same person?
I'm not.
Douglas.
I don't believe I know their name. I just know they were let go, and they weren't given a reference.
Ooh, well, that means he's
Everyone-
famous.
Everyone was involved in one of her hobbies is vamoosed.
As far as I've been told by the other servants, she had a lot of hobbies. I don't know why I keep going to this gravelly voice. I think it's because I have a sore throat.
She had a lot of hobbies. Did she also have a lot of partners from the teachers?
I wouldn't know, I'm
I
sorry.
guess this guy wouldn't know because he's new. Okay, thanks. I'm amazed that you worked here for a week and you know all the secret hiding spots, though.
The scullery maids are quite chatty.
Note to self. Bart goes and tries to find this like nest.
Okay.
Given his directions.
So the tiefling, whose name you haven't asked for, but I have written one down, follows you round and basically just shows it to you. And he basically just like, it's like a wooden fence, planks, and he literally just like moves one in the middle aside. And then you.
Options.
Pardon?
Could you repeat the last thing you said for me? It cut off.
Oh, just literally moves a whole panel aside.
Okay, and then pop my head in there. I mean, well, thank you, insert name here that we totally asked for.
I mean, she went out of her way to say that they were a tiefling, so we might need to remember this person is like, we just met the villain of the story, and when we get to the end, it'll be this guy who's like, if you had only asked me my name, I would have told you my whole story, but no, you didn't.
Bartholomew, what did we tell you about your preconceptions of tieflings?
And for your notes, the tiefling's name is Perseverance.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's really, I'm sorry, that's just really, in my podcast, we have a tiefling named Professor Perseverance.
I wonder if the professor was a stable hand before they went on to get their doctorate.
I mean, you never know.
Universe.
The multiverse.
I am Perseverance like my father. He always wanted me to go into academia, but I found it more useful to work with my hands in the dirt.
Lenobi, you stick your head through and it's not dark. Like, you're not in like an enclosed space or anything like that. What you see, like, is the length of the stables for 10 horses, open sky, and at the end you see one humanoid shaped mannequin and one circle archery. You look around, you see a pile of hay, you see some rations, you see a blanket, you see a light, you see some books, and you also see some archery gear.
Is there a hayloft?
No.
So can I enter into this space and then sort of...
I would say you would have quite difficulty getting through one plank of fencing, Bartholomew.
I mean, I would. I'm thick as hell, so...
Thick with 2 C's.
Yeah, sometimes 3, depending on how many Cadbury eggs he eats. You know what I'm saying? Oh, boom. Okay. Well, if that's the thing, don't show them to me. Now you're just showing off. This is rude. I take offense to that.
A fence?
Yeah, I mean, does I know we have survival. If you are in that space, can you roll survival?
4.
Oh, I do have survival.
Like if I can't fit in there, I wanted to roll survival to see if I could see where they like how long this stuff had been sitting here, and then
how long they were using this nest until they moved on to the next one, or if this was just
yep. And
Okay.
also if there's any like sort of tracks leading out, because obviously this isn't like an enclosed like dome of grass, right? So like if they had decided like they woke up and they just like walked somewhere else, if we could get a direction, that kind of thing.
I will allow you to stick your head in. 1 minute. So I'm just looking at your artwork to remind myself.
I mean,
And then again, you could totally like turn your head and poke your head through, and I'll let you roll that.
Look, I will 100% rip this fucking fence off.
Why don't you just do it?
Okay, fine. So,
you said you wanted
everybody
something
sticks
to punch.
Everyone sticks their head in there. I mean, the kobold could fit. I'm pretty sure no one else could. I don't know.
I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Go ahead, Buns. What you're saying?
No, you're good. You're good. I am.
Oh, okay. I'm like I feel like I need to get in there to give it a better look.
Would I be
What
able
am I
to? Would either of us be able to fit? Somebody fits inside, and then we look.
So Lenobi, you would fit, and Fox, you would fit.
Okay. So Fox, do you want to do it?
Yep, can do.
Just crawl under me. Just.
Yeah.
And then
Cool.
you said a survival check. So then survival.
I will be looking around and seeing what's going on. Survival, pretty good with that. Famous last words. 24.
Pretty good.
So you see footsteps. You see multiple footsteps. Small and dainty, slightly larger. Walking back and forth from the target back to a starting point where there's a big like groove where they've repeatedly stood there. You can see this path kind of carved out. There's like grass and weeds growing here, but like it's just like a dirt path. You can also tell that this hasn't been used in 15 days.
So then it does line up with when they left.
Folks do that thing where he's stepping in the footprints, and then you see the ghostly figures of them doing their last movements. Starts doing the Willem Dafoe conducting thing.
There was an archery fight. I got you. All right.
Okay.
It does. It's like 15 days. It does match the time frame that we have.
Mm-hmm.
15 days. That's 1 day less than the diary. So she was here after the diary.
We have to check another one.
The diary was 16 days.
The diary was 16 days. So if this is 15 days ago, we should check another hideout of hers to see if she just went around them all day, or if this one specifically was the last one she used. We need.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I was going to ask Perseverance if she had used this one last.
I've only been here a week.
Yeah.
Perseverance reminds you.
Got to ask those scullery maids if she only used the ones that were near whatever hobby she was doing, or if she rotated them around.
All right. Well, thank you, Perseverance. Did you? Is this the one you threw money at?
No, but I am gonna give him money. So yeah, I give him like 10 gold coins, and I'm like, here you go. Thank you for your help.
Perseverance thanks you sincerely.
I still don't know his name because I never asked, because Bart is weird. But yeah. Don't worry, I'm keeping track of this too. I just have like 200. I have like 200 gold. I'm like, what am I gonna do with all this gold? So now it's just, you know what? Tip your wait staff, everybody. FYI.
Tip your informants.
Yep, exactly.
Make it rain,
Yep. Except with dragons, maybe not, because I feel like they might hurt. Like throwing, like making it rain.
It's not fun if it doesn't hurt a little.
I mean,
what they say, bitches get new britches because you can't.
Man, two really good statements, one right after the other. It's not fun unless it hurts a little bit, and then also
Okay.
I mean, yep. Okay.
Are we headed down to the kitchen so we can try to find the scullery maid?
I think so. I think it's the next
Thank you,
step.
Perseverance. Stick at it.
Right. On the way, could I kind of do a walking perception to see if anything stands out as we move? Because she said she saw it, so there's a ghost in here somewhere. Then, like, I just want to be like on guard.
You're gonna.
Also, yeah, where is Death? Did we ask that question? Or did we all just laugh about it and keep going?
I mean, I never.
You laughed
like I
about
said,
it and kept going.
Yeah, Bart.
Where is he?
I was gonna keep my eyes open, but yeah, not actively looking particularly.
Death isn't.
No, Dar, and I just assumed.
Death is not here. I can tell you that.
Was he on the boat?
Death was on the boat. Yes, Death traveled with you.
Okay. We just left Death there making cookies. I wonder when they'll be
Burning your cottage down because Death can't cook.
Yep. I mean, to be honest with you,
And he knows how to make burnt cookies.
Yep. If we want to give Death that real, if we want to give Death that real dating experience, we should probably just leave him somewhere and not talk to him for a while, and then be like, "Oh yeah, that's where you were. I forgot." Because
Fox is 1,000% willing to do this while he's in gnome form.
Oh man, let's ghost him only because he's a gnome. Until he turns back, it'll be fine. Okay.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
So yeah, let's head to the kitchen.
You head straight to the kitchen because that's how you got to the stables. And this is a full-on medieval kitchen. It is hot in here. There's at least 3 big ovens that are just roaring and letting off this impossible heat. There are pots all like hung up in the beams. I can never, I need to get myself like an architecture book so I can learn the proper words, because I was like, galleys? No, galleries, Leonie, galleries. So I'm gonna go get myself a
This is this is the closest we're getting to a galley right here. So.
I clearly just want to be on a boat. Yeah, so and there's like vegetables piled up being chopped. This place is absolutely busy and heaving. There's at least 20 people here working. Scaling fish, peeling potatoes, prepping vegetables, stirring pots, roasting meat. Like, everyone seems to have a fixed job, and it's like a hive of activity.
Mm-hmm. But who is doing something simple like prep?
You see a young girl sitting on a stool, shelling a mountain of peas.
And that's the one I'm going to go talk to, because she ain't doing no damn work. From the food industry, the easiest job person is not doing the work. They just wanted to sit down. So,
prep is an important part of any kitchen. And how dare you?
You get to the simple stuff. You just want to sit down. You ain't really doing it. I mean, you can. It'll only take 10 minutes.
Oh, Buns, we're having some internet difficulties from you. Hopefully, we're not having our disconnect.
Freezes.
I know. 1 minute.
He has the greatest. I mean, they have the greatest.
1 minute. Goldhart tradition. You know what? Oh no, they moved.
They moved. No.
It's like you still got another frozen.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Got the teeth.
My earring was moved. It's just like,
we're not doing a Curse of Strahd campaign. Come on. Vampire spawn.
Although, yeah, wearing the fangs kind of a spoiler that you already got turned. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of.
I Strahd all along.
Oh shit! Even better.
Right?
Yep.
Anyway, I didn't capture the teeth one, but I did capture the other one, which, as Goldhart tradition is, that we screenshot it and send it to you to keep a gallery. I'll probably make a channel just to keep these because they're fun.
Yeah, I think the last one was me going.
Anyway, I'm not gonna get in an argument with you about food prep being an important.
Yes, please. We've already had the tea wars.
That was a serious war.
Yep,
Many
it was.
many casualties.
First off,
Yeah, it is because I still haven't said anything back after being called a little shit on Twitter. Somebody called me a little shit on Twitter. I gotta get back about that real quick. No, anyway. So yeah, we're going up
Goldhart
to
tea party.
Shucker. Yep, we're going up to P Shucker.
So yeah, she's a young girl, about 12, wearing a simple kitchen outfit. It's quite loose and airy. It's quite hot in this kitchen. I'm assuming you're all trying your best to stay out of everyone's way because, as I said, this is a hive of activity.
Mm-hmm.
She looks up at you.
And Bart squats down and puts his skull face, like, not intimidatingly close to her, but just like squats down and is like, "Hey, what's your name?" "I'm Bart."
Agatha?
Christy is your last name? No, okay. How long have you worked here, Agatha?
Since I was in my mum's tum. I was born here.
So your mother knew the previous master. Did
Mm.
you?
I was a bit small, but yeah. But my grandma did.
Your grandma. Okay. And Bart like picks up peas and is trying to peel them. Like he's like, "Oh, is this how you do this?" And he's like picking things up and trying to like do the task that she's doing. Can you show me how to do this?
Okay, so she shows you. And just because I want to show people that I know this, you take one end, you peel it, you open it, and you run your thumb through it.
Nice. The proper way. Cool. And so, yeah, Bart clumsily is doing this and is going to be like, "So did you like, man, I'm going to forget it. Carice. Did you know Carice very well?" She was a bit of a wild kid, huh?
Yeah, she used to come through now and then and like take stuff and move on.
She wasn't very nice about it, though.
She didn't say anything to any of us. She kept to herself mostly.
Okay.
When did you start in the kitchen?
Pretty much as soon as I could stand. Ma used to bring me in, you see, swaddled. And as soon as I could stand, I could walk. And I could work.
You could work. So you were here when the old owners were here?
I was. Nice man he was. He used to give me sweets.
Jer, are the rumors true?
That's what everyone says. I wasn't allowed upstairs at the time. But apparently he was swinging from the chandelier.
Yeah, glad you didn't see that. Do you know? This my last question anyway. The whole time Lenobi's been talking, they've been sort of messing with like, they're always messing with metal pieces, but they've been like messing with something while they were talking.
Mm-hmm.
My last question for you is, do you know any secret ways to get around here that maybe the new people don't know about yet? I'll trade you for the information.
What?
Like, there are a bunch of secret little paths.
Yeah, I know, but what are you going to give me?
It depends on the information.
Depends on what you're going to give me.
Something that'll make your job easier.
I hate shelling peas. Actually, I don't, because I get to sit down. But
inaccurate information. Beep, beep, beep.
Get out here, Bart.
But it's boring.
Right? So wouldn't it be a lot more fun if you had an automatic snapper?
Yes. So, you know the servants' entryways all around the house? They go right up to the attic, and even some of them go into Undermountain.
I think that deserves this too. I give him the thingy I made and the least burnt cookie we got.
Well, we're a
You
percentage.
Oh god! I
Die.
was like, are you reaching into Dorothea's bag to also give her like a strawberry candy? Because man, I don't know.
Oh yeah, because they grow down there.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Spend tile dice. I rolled that's a 6. Okay, 19. No, that's a 6. I just said it. 16. Oh, I rolled a 16.
It's 16% burnt.
Ugh, that's not bad.
That's not
The
bad
edges.
at all. Just the edges.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's that soft burnt. That's right at the bottom.
Yep. It's the one where you eat that first
Like
and then eat the
kale.
soft part, so that the good flavor is the last thing you eat.
Yeah.
And then Bart.
Sorry, Lenoba, you're very quiet. That you actually don't come through when other people are talking.
Yeah, sorry. I don't mean to be talking over you, but I that is happening.
Give me another cookie. You're good.
Okay, cool. Here she takes it. She's really happy. This is actually a really nice molasses cookie.
And then yeah, Bart like slaps down 20 gold pieces and is like, "Here you go, Agatha. This is also for your information. You can share with your mom if you want, but just take care of yourself."
I could buy sweets for 10 years with this.
It's true. There's lots of things that money can buy.
You're only allowed to buy a few pieces a month. Please care of your teeth. They are important.
I mean, there's magic, so you don't even ever have to go to the dentist. You just like
Bartholomew.
prestidigitation. I mean, I don't even have teeth, so I don't understand. But yeah,
According to your skull, you do.
Right. I mean, I don't. Yeah, my skull gets polished, but like I don't use that to chew. I kind of just jam things in my roots and they get absorbed slowly. Remember, we've had this conversation.
Yes, we have
Just
it.
for the aesthetics.
Yeah, exactly.
Chewing.
It's just like flap up and down, just like.
Yep. I don't need a lower jaw. All right. Does anybody else have a question for Agatha? The pea shucker, which is what I've named her.
The pea shucker. We were gonna try to get Sculler Maze to give us information. That is the information that we were looking for. Was there any other questions that we wanted to ask? I wasn't sure, other than find a good way to get to where the old owners would be and information about them.
Right, which would be if we go up into the attic and see if that's where people weren't allowed.
Didn't you want to ask about the other teachers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can.
Oh, okay. And so I look at Agatha. I'm like, "Where is your mom working today?"
No, it's Mom's day off.
Well, at least they give you a day off. That's way better than a lot of places. Okay, so if you had to say the most gossipy person who had all the good, sweet info, who would they be that's working today?
Molly, the chambermaid. She knows everything.
Okay. Molly, huh?
I'm picking these names up at the top of my head, okay?
No, I know. I mean, no. I didn't say it like that. I'm sorry. That's not what my tone may have implied that, but I was just having a conversation back. Okay. This is how because of how bad my hearing is, this is how I make sure I heard people's names right, is by pretending like I know what they said and then be like,
It's a habit I clearly need to learn about you.
yeah, sorry. I'm not judging the name. I'm just being like, say it out loud so you heard it right. Okay. Where's Molly at now? Do you know what her route is? She's a chambermaid, so she'd be Do you know what floor she's working on?
Let's see. It's almost lunch, so she's probably setting up the dining room.
Okay. Thank you very much, Agatha. And a little bit of this. Puts out his fist. He's like, give me a little bump.
Little bump,
You know, just a little.
little fist bump.
Close your fist
And punch his fist.
and
Soft
punch my fist a little gently. Nice.
fist bump.
Fist bump. Thank you. Take care of yourself.
Teaching kids to fist bump. Wholesome.
Yep, exactly.
And as you leave, you do hear her voice go, "Did anyone else hear that tree talking?"
Yep. I mean, perfect. And that is the first time you've ever seen Bart treat anybody nicely, I think. If you've interacted with Bart and children before,
Progress.
I think they do this with kids. I think I think it's a child.
They got a
thing
soft spot for
Bart.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, Bart's like, okay, are we gonna go see Molly? I mean, we're getting further away from talking to Douglas, but I guess we can do that at another time. Because Bart's having a hard time. He's like, this is the list. This is what we were supposed to do. And now we're like, let's go do something else. He's like, my brain, it's hard. Can't.
Get contact with the ghost, so I think we're just trying to get more information about it here at the house to make sure everything's fine before we go leaving. And then like, we had to go back to the house.
I know. I understand. I just
Side missions before storyline. We talked about that.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's why I wanted to go see Douglas, because he's definitely the side mission. He is definitely not the main mission, but that's in my brain anyway.
Side piece.
Yeah, exactly. All the teachers are the side pieces for Carice. Why go out and meet people that you could date in your social circle when you could just hire them to teach you a skill, and then dang dang bang bang bang. Okay. Yeah. Yep. So I would like to go to wherever they set up the meal.
The main dining room.
Luncheon. Okay.
Okay.
And ask around for Molly.
Okay, so there are 3 servants in this room. 1 male presenting, 2 female presenting. And the female presenting ones are setting the table. And then the male one comes along, seems to be checking off a list, seems to be aligning stuff, with their fingers, like measuring, the edge of the plate must be this far from the cup, and so on and so forth.
So Bart walks up to the male presenting. He's like, "Are you Molly?"
Do I look like a Molly? Molly! And this young strawberry blonde girl turns around.
We're gonna need to borrow Molly for some questions about the ghosts. And he like touches this dude on the chest with his finger, are gonna have to take over for her. Molly, come here. And so Bart's just gonna try and usher Molly away and make the butler do the work.
Okay. You hear lots of noises.
Just to be clear, I was in a town that had a plague. That cough doesn't sound good. You should probably get that checked out. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no.
That's high level sass right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Molly comes. She smooths over her pinafore. Just her little cap.
And Bart like, man, okay. I'm gonna go heavy on this because I just decided I'm going to. Bart like messes up the seating by taking one of the like nicest chairs out of the dining hall and like drag it across the floor and be like, okay, go ahead and sit down, Molly. You look like you need a break. And then he like goes over and grabs like the teapot that they have getting set up for lunch, and he's like pouring her a glass of tea, like a cup of tea, and just like the pristineness of this area is now marred by this like treeman like taking some of these sandwiches and like taking this cup of tea and bringing it over to Molly and being like, "Here, take a break. We have a couple questions for you. We were told by Agatha you'd be the most useful." And he just like hands her this tea and these sandwiches. I'm trying to think if you would use like a napkin or if it would just be like his bare hand with like sandwiches in it. It's his bare hand. I don't want it to be too much progress in high society for Bart at this point. So yeah, he just has like a pile of sandwiches that he had like grabbed and like a cup of tea.
Oh, you want the gossip? I can fix you up. Don't worry about it.
She's got the tea and the tea.
She's got the tea and tea.
Perfect.
Nobody's laying on the table like this, like their legs are going back and forth, like,
Tell me more, like the ever come. All right. Yep.
Orc's got leather jacket on.
Yep. Exactly.
So, what is it you want to know?
okay, so Grant, please. Okay.
I'm not going to stop with that accent, no.
No, not you, Ray. I looked over, he was doing the comb thing. It caught me off. I really like it. So tell us everything. The old owners, these new owners, that girl that's missing. What's going on?
Oh, God. Pythagoras was the nicest employer. He, like, gave us holidays off. He gave us overtime. He even gave us hazard pay when we had to clean out all the pots, the chamber pots, after a really big piss up.
Hold on. Well, I gotta.
Challenging you, Nan.
Okay. Did he ever do anything dangerous? What happened? What happened to this place? It burned down?
That's how the story went, if I'm honest. But
Yeah.
like, we're talking like 300 years ago. Like, who cares? It's not burnt down now.
300 years ago?
Oh yeah, this building's been in the Vandersand family for years.
And how long ago did Pythagorean die?
Oh goodness, it was about 3 months.
3 months ago. I thought
Sweet.
he died in a fire.
No, that's the story of the old house, the original Cyril the Vandersand. Pythagoras was like his great nephew or something like that.
So many greats. Hold on.
So what's the rumor about Pythagoras Vandersand being a warlock?
No, he wasn't a warlock. He was a merchant.
Well, that doesn't necessarily not correlate. The two were not incompatible.
Did he ever try to do magic?
No, he had no interest in magic. He didn't even like hiring cleaners in for magic. That's why he had all of us. No, what you're thinking of is Cyril de Vandersand, the original Vandersand. He apparently was a warlock. That's how I got all his dosh.
So we're talking about a malignant spirit that has been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah, that's the story. I've
And
seen
has
it. I've seen them. You know, there's 8.
There's 8 of him?
Yeah, there's the white lady. You can hear her in the attic crying. There's the headless gentleman. You see him go down the stairs. There's the skittering hand. Yeah. There's also the wave of blood, which I haven't seen, but my friend Christy, she totally saw it, and she said it was really gross.
There's one more.
Oh, and the ghost of Sorrel himself, which is the one I saw.
I got you.
All bound with chains and brandished swords and moaning.
How recently has the White Lady been showing herself?
They've all been here.
Oh, okay,
Ages.
all right.
Yeah.
Damn. I was like, if it's just
Well,
been
this house really
2
is
weeks.
just haunted.
Oh, it's been haunted for years.
Right, but has it been more active as of late? Or is there periods of time where it's been more active?
So when Pythagoras died, we were down to like a skeleton crew. You know, stripped down to the bones. I was still here at the time, and it kind of went a bit quiet. I mean, we're quite used to it now. I mean, it still gives you a scare, like you open a cupboard and there's like a giant spider in your face, but you get used to it. Like once you realize they can't hurt you, and every time a new owner comes in, because the Vandersands, you see, they have a lovely manor out in the country, and they normally stay here. They hardly ever stay in the city. And occasionally they do. And then we got to, you know, air out the rooms, pat down the beds.
Where is that?
The manor?
Mhm.
Oh, it's just out in the farmlands by the woods. Most nobles, summer there and then spend winter here, but not the Vandersand.
Why don't they summer there?
No, they just live there because the house is haunted.
We definitely need to add on a noble tax if we're if we're gonna allow them their winter home back.
The young miss, the one that went missing.
She was a strange one. Not what you expect from a lady. No, you normally expect them to be like dainty, don't you? She weren't dainty. She's about as dainty as a horse is a mule.
So a lot of adventuring, a lot of running around, but we know that she tried to take up fencing and magic and falconry and hunting and farming and a lot of other things.
True. She even had a dancing monster once. They wanted to make her a bit genteel, like, you know. He was scary.
Why?
Taito, he was an orc. Never seen an orc dancing master, but I guess she needed someone bigger than her to waltz around the room.
This is Lenobi trying to do social cues.
Right, that's what Bart's staring at this person like, what? How do you do that? Your face is very expressive. It's confusing.
Tries to make expression. You want to see me smile?
I am happy. What do you mean? Thank you very much. Yeah.
So the best gossip, I think, would be what's going on between the parents.
So Lady Coachwell is the second wife. She's not the girl's natural mother, or so I hear. And I don't know, Lord Coachwell's a bit centric, I think. I mean, who buys an abandoned? I guess he does. Well, I'm quite grateful for it.
Yeah, because work.
But you know, he just seems to be more interested in it. He just seems to be more interested in like keeping the house haunted and
keeping it haunted?
Mm.
Is
He
there a
bought-
particular reason you think he might want to do that?
Oh, he loves showing it off. Every party we ever have. He's like, oh yes, and here's the blood stain.
Mm-hmm.
sorry, that's not what it sounds like. He's like, oh yeah, here is my great grandfather, and he hangs about, and there's a haunted chair, and he's got all these other weird knickknacks as well.
Huh.
Suppose he didn't show them to you.
He probably
And-
did.
Enter the montage of all of us like blankly walking
Like,
past him as he's
As he's showing all the things that we're just like,
there's like a haunted ghost like waving its arms around. He's like, oh, my grandfather. And we're like, all right, let's go.
nah.
That's interesting that he would hire us when our speciality is actually ridding places of.
Well, that was really lazy
Sure.
Coach Rush. She's been absolutely heartbroken. Like, they're not like exactly like mother and daughter, but you can tell she totally cares for her.
Okay.
Like every dancing teacher, the lady takes care of.
Every dance teacher?
They try and the lady tries to keep her busy, you know?
Okay. How many dance teachers has she had?
4.
I just don't understand why you need more than one. Unless they died. Not bored.
Well, there was a broken foot incident.
Oh, there was a what?
A broken foot incident.
Ah, he broke
Go
their...
on.
Well, apparently, he called her a brute, and she picked up a mace and smashed him in the foot.
I love her.
Sounds brutish.
As I said, she's not like a dainty lady.
Yeah, I'm much more on the whole ran away thing.
But yeah, every teacher that girls ever had, organised by the mother, every holiday, every play day, even this marriage.
Everything. And where's the fiance? Has he been here since she left?
No, don't think he cared for her much.
That's the CV family, right?
Seawards.
Oh, okay. Seawards. All right, cool. I didn't fix my notes on that, and I wanted to make sure I did.
You don't think they would have made a good couple at the end?
They say love blossoms and all that, but that's how those nobles do it. I much rather find someone handsome and horny and actual horny. It's good with a fork and perseveres a hard day's work.
I was gonna say, wait, are you now just daydreaming about perseverance?
I mean, you have seen him, right?
Yeah.
Well then.
Thank you so much for your time. You've been an amazing source of exposition. I mean, of information.
I made you work for it, though. I took you to 8 places.
God damn it. No, I definitely think we can, and sorry, this is me talking out of character, to the group. I definitely think that we can move to go towards the city if we're not, because everything we were like, let's go to the attic, let's go to the thing, was I will take some responsibility on that, because I was going based off thinking that the ghost we were talking about was the old owner, not like the great grandfather of the old owner.
Right.
So that's I will take responsibility for my misunderstanding there.
Oh, that's fine. I don't mind. Like I said, please, like, speak up, because I just have an idea of what Bart would do, and I want everyone to have an opportunity to tell them to do something fucking else. But yeah, so Bart will hand Molly Ringwald 10 gold coins and be like, thank you for your information. If anything else comes to mind, or you just have some sick, amazing amount of goss you want to share with us, do keep us in mind.
I'll see you later then. Bye.
Like, rolls off the table because I have prayer time here. To the city?
I'm feeling more and more that Carice's disappearance and these ghosts are separate. I don't know. It's weirding me out. Like,
You were hired to find Cerise, not get rid of the ghost.
true, but I'm sure they're intertwined somehow. She lives such a separate life from this place, and it seems strange that any spirit or entity here would think of her as interesting.
They probably didn't. Like, everyone's saying they see the ghosts all the time. It's not that they're specifically going after people. And they're not related to the people who originally owned the house. Or
Right.
are they? I'm making sure. No, they're not. So
No.
there's not even a connection spiritually with the ghost going, bitch, you're my kin. Like, it's just they're haunting the house, and the people are like, yeah, it's like a Gomez and it's like Gomez and Morticia found this house. They were just like, yeah.
I mean, have we thought about the idea that this father of hers is so obsessed with the idea of
showing off ghosts that
ghostliness and paranormal activity that he's stirred up something that's affected his daughter, or maybe even put her in harm's way directly.
I mean, that's
and my own daughter haunts my house.
I mean, to be honest with you, judging by his reaction, which I'm not very good at, when we first showed up, yes, 100%. I thought it was his fault. But again, I'm always of the mindset that if you're cool, calm, and collected when dealing with a tragedy and you're not disassociating, it's your fault. No, everybody reacts differently. I just am always suspicious of her,
No, it's fine.
of relatives. And it could, if this relationship and arranged marriage is not going well, this could also be something outside of the house done by the C words to get out of a garbage alliance. But again, that's a lot of politics.
Well,
and we really only need to do one thing, which is find this girl.
Yeah. So as a group, is everybody okay with us going ahead and heading out down to the port to go check on the guy?
Yeah, I still want to talk to Douglas.
Might want to make a trip out to this
to that other house.
manor.
The woods.
Oh yeah.
The summer house where the family lives.
So I just want to tell you, the summer house was owned by the Vandersands. And the people who have hired you is the Coachwells, and they've bought this house. Maybe you should check to see if they own the other house.
If the Vandersands own it at all? Or
okay,
the
the Vandersands are the original owners of the house. The Coachwells are the current owners of the house.
Right.
The Vandersands are the ones that had a summer house, and they only occasionally stayed in this house because it was haunted.
Yep. And the Vandersands finished with Pythagoras?
And the Vandersands finished with Pythagoras.
Yes.
And Pythagoras was at least, there was a great one. So that was at least a couple generations back. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So theoretically, from what the information that we would be given, the house is abandoned.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the castle, the ones that own the house now, they just own the house. They don't own the entire estate.
Right.
Thing, so.
Well, so far as we know, anyway.
Yeah, you're right. So we do need to ask. That's the last thing we're doing, and then we're going to the city.
Nah! I just wanted to go shopping. No,
I know.
I want to get some arrows.
You can buy anything. You can buy something you want, and then I'll imbue it with a spell. I promise.
I just want to take up archery, and Douglas sounds like somebody that could help me.
Yeah. Okay. So, oof. Would we even? Random servant. I'm just gonna reach my arm out. Hope there's a random servant still there. Who owns the state? Who owns the house in the city? I'm sorry, I don't speak pompous. What are you saying?
The estate? You mean this estate?
Not this estate. Yes, well, the entire. Do your current employers also own the summer home?
Oh, no, no, no. That was sold off to another royal family. Noble family.
Thank you for your service. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean,
I don't speak this language. What is this?
Orcs just starts pushing a little bit away. Come on.
It sounds like something like draconic, but not quite.
And as you set off,
over and over again, just watermelon.
as you set off to go to the dock ward south of the city, it's here that we will end our session.
We do city things next time.
No, we're nearly out of time. But we're back next week because we're trying to catch up with all the tech difficulties and stuff. So, right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all the follows and the sub that we got. Thank you so much, Samus. You found us and was like, yes, I'm following this. And then you yeah, I really like this. I'm going to sub and say, oh my God, thank you. Amazing. Never seen anyone buy into what madness we're doing so quickly. Usually we grow on people. But yes, we are A Date with Death. And this is our Wacky Wednesday where we play this wacky game. I'm just going to spam chat with what's on as we start to do our wind down, because one thing we like to do here at Goldhart is wind down together and wind down with you chat and just have a little chat before we go away. So just to let you know that at the moment, Dungeon of the Mad Mage is currently on hiatus as our DM Kevin has a lovely rest. So we will be back with that in May. So don't worry, we'll be back. And then, of course, you can join me every other Monday for Descent into Avernus, which is just as wacky. It was quite funny because in our wind down with Avernus, they were like, yeah, the Date with Death. Have you seen Date with Death? Oh yeah, the Date with Death people give us a run for our money in terms of whimsy.
It's a lot of whimsy.
It's a lot of whimsy. Yes.
And me making myself cry laughing with my inappropriate jokes. Also, I somehow turned from a Louisiana Cajun accent into Georgia for some reason today. I don't know. We're just gonna roll with it. Just walking down the steps of terror, and I don't know, gone with the wind. My lord.
I was doing an accent that was both Newcastle and Irish and kind of northern-esque, and it was just moving between of them. You couldn't make its mind up. I don't care. I'm not very good at accents, but the point is that I try.
Yep, that's the whole thing.
This is Dorothea's posh accent, right? You go from Louisiana to Gone with the Wind. You're like, oh, people are wearing nicer dresses, better change it up.
Tone switching. I love it. So, right, as we normally do, let's do favourite parts this session. And you know my rules by now, so the last one to touch their nose goes first. John.
I wasn't last this time.
But the lag that all of our cameras have is
My reflexes.
John, what was your favourite moment this session?
I think just really diving into the investigation, getting all the stuff and meeting all the different characters through the it's like
my poor page of notes.
We had the whole Agatha Christie, mentioned there, like before, but yeah, just like all the different servants, all the different people that know, and the drama that's going on behind, the main thing that's happened, and hearing all that, and also imagining folks in the servant tunnels like a hamster in the tunnels, in the pocket.
Scratching in the walls. Yes, I love that. Also, chat, don't forget, tell us your favourite moments from the session thus far. While we continue, and the last one to touch their nose goes next.
Bunny. That's funny. That's funny. I saw it.
A bunch of people weren't actually paying attention, which you could tell as everyone was staring off at some other screen, and I was like, I got it this time.
My favorite part, I think, was other than the barrage of accents, was I'm trying to remember. Not remember, but I have like two that have been fighting. I've been trying to think, but I have two things that have been.
We'll
fighting
list them both. Why not?
Okay. So I really liked when we were looking through everything. I'm sorry, but Bart trying to figure out if his body could fit into that small space was endearing and adorable. And then you're like, but I kept expecting you to pick up your head and like throw it in there and see if you. I was waiting for you to go, I take my face off and I throw it. It's the little thing. And the thirst we all had about oh wait, no, that was before we started. I'm just gonna put that on Perseverance. The thirst we all had on Perseverance. And their
with Team Perseverance or Team Douglas?
Team Douglas, who you've not met.
Right. I mean, the only Team Douglas would be Bart's imagination at this point.
You're going to be surprised because I've written down the race, so.
Thirst.
Okay, next one. Next.
I don't have to anymore.
I think that was me. Okay,
Yeah.
That's me. That's me. My favorite moment was definitely finding out that Miss Molly, was that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Molly was crushing hard on Perseverance, which was like, okay, get it, girl, let's go. We'll now kiss.
Mwah.
After Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah. Just like the scene of Perseverance just slowly lifting that shirt and the
I don't
Farmer
want
boy
you
ass.
to. We no slave. I don't want you to. Rubbing a Coke can over his sweaty brow. Yeah, that's totally what I was imagining.
Ooh.
No. Sorry, I can't do words today. No, I'm afraid not. You're not in time for smooches. You'll have to catch the VOD. We're just doing wind down. But thank you for hosting, because every little helps. And I knocked in my camera. That's what that horrible noise was, by the way. You all know that my I've broken my mic on its arm. It's just limp. I have a limp arm. And Ran, you're last, so you can go next.
Oh, I see. We don't have like a nose off. Okay,
No,
that's
because
fine.
I know when I'm going to do it, so that's just not fair. Unless someone else goes, unless someone else
it's
takes
fine.
charge of that.
We already did.
All right, on the count of three. Last one to touch their cheek.
Well, you said on the count of three. You didn't count to three.
Now we only go, ha. Like 1, 2, 3. You were last, right?
That was like, it might have been lag, but it
100% leg.
It went.
Wow, really? See, on my camera, I went the other way. So, it doesn't really matter. Hello, thank you, everybody, for watching. My favorite part, getting the crew back together for sure. I think I love playing with these people, and their characters are so good that it's great. Which is cheating by saying everything. But fuck you. How about that? No. If I had to pick one moment that I really enjoyed, I think it was interacting with Agatha, sort of to give Bart a little bit more personality than just like hatred of everybody that's not his like found family. So I enjoyed that. And then Shay was not around, but I really wanted to have a scene with Shay like ruining a carpet or something by like
you know what?
eating it.
Shay, wherever death is, Shay's with death. That's what I'm
Okay,
gonna say.
all right. Okay, that's fine. That's fair. But yeah, no, I mean, thanks for watching, everybody, and thank you everybody for playing. It was great.
Yeah. Okay, I'm last. So yes, hi, Gloss and Gadgets, Golden Stag. If the antlers didn't give it away. My favorite moment was kind of watching all of you get sucked up into the investigation, actually. And this, obviously, I've already told you my Have we frozen? No, they're just buns. I've already told you my inspiration for this story, but it was fun to like weave in other classical novels that I know for inspiration. So there's a little bit of everything going on, from Lady Chatterley's Lover to Wuthering Heights, etc. Yeah, so that was my favorite part.
Wild theories.
Yeah.
It was the butler in the library with the wrench.
Ooh, we are gonna just play Clue. Okay, I'm into it.
That's technically what's happening.
You're singing Telegram.
So we're going to go now and do our
Perfect.
proper wind down behind the scenes and just chill for a bit and get off our hype. Please stay for the credits and follow all these amazing people on Twitter, because I follow all of them, and you should know something about me. I don't follow trash, I follow trash fires, and these people are definitely people you want on your feeds. So please stay safe out there, wash your hands, stay home, and of course, stay in trouble and on fire. Good night.